The Iran war is like a box of bombs. You never know what you're going to get next. And you wake up in the morning to footage like this practically every single day. Check this out. There's a Iranian drone over Kuwait. President Trump said, "You better not fire any more drones." What just happened over Kuwait? Well, lots of drones fired last night at Kuwaiti infrastructure. Here you can see the interceptor. You can see the interceptor take it out, and then also how deadly, and how explosive laden those drones are as it just like incinerates in air. And they are attempting to attack the U.S. air bases and army bases in Kuwait and the surrounding support structures. They've already successfully been able to attack those bases in Iraq. And this was, of course, that in Iraq, this is what it looks like when you're blowing up massive amounts of energy. And that is what President Trump promises to do. Donald Trump has clearly had enough after his press conference yesterday saying, "I am sick of dealing with the Iranians." Trump orders more strikes on Iran after losing faith. Donald Trump now wishes to strike the fatal blow that ends Iran. And they keep prodding and they keep poking and they keep pricking at the U.S. president. And Donald Trump is now weighing a round of intense strikes on the energy targets in Iran that will send the nation back to the Stone Age. Trump is considering Iranian energy targets within days. This would be intended to cause such catastrophic damage and that effectively you create a inoperable country, right? President Trump is seriously considering launching attacks on Iran's energy power plants. New U.S. bombing campaign against Iran. Energy infrastructure targets would be aimed at trying to get the Iranians to agree to U.S. terms in an ongoing ceasefire. So the pain before the peace. It's typically how war goes, actually. It's not shocking. This is how it always goes, in fact. The strikes could also involve Israeli military for the first time in weeks. Iranian escalation. The Wall Street Journal first reported this. At the start of Friday's cabinet meeting, Trump said, "Well, we'll be hitting them very hard. At some point, they're just going to say we can't take it anymore." Allegedly, Donald Trump is now planning on taking out all of the power plants. It's been very aggressive. Some officials were stunned at how much the Iranians were willing to escalate. After the surprise missile attack on the U.S. base in Jordan, Iran launched additional attacks on U.S. forces in the region. Iranians also attacked some commercial ships on the Strait of Hormuz on Thursday. That's after President Trump declared that if you did that, you would lose all your power plants. Donald Trump threatened to take out all of the power plants. President Trump has ordered a fresh U.S. military attacks on Iran, forcing them to surrender. This would be the point, according to the Wall Street Journal.
Cabinet meeting from Camp David today, where the president talked about the Iran conflict and touted his administration's openness. Senior foreign policy correspondent Jillian Turner starts us off live tonight from the North Lawn of the White House.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump says all they do is make me angry. They break their word so often.
They say talks aren't happening.
Very good people. We're the best people. But they'll make a deal. As an example, we'll talk about nuclear. And we'll be in there talking about nuclear for 7 hours. I say, why do you need 7? You can take 10 minutes. You have 5 minutes. You should solve it. But 7 hours. And then they'll go out and I'll say, they discussed nuclear. And they'll go out and they'll say, we never discussed nuclear. And I say, why did they say that?
Not great people. President Trump, it'll take them many years to rebuild if I go back and finish up the job. So what would that look like? Well, Donald Trump said 9 days ago that if you strike another ship in the Strait of Hormuz, then we're going to take out all of your power plants, one bridge or one power plant. And now Tehran's airport has cleared out all of their civilian planes as they brace for U.S. attacks. Civilian aircraft were all evacuated from Tehran. Trump ordering fresh attacks. CBS reporting that they are planning on bombing the power plants and refineries as soon as this weekend. American refueling tankers have already launched out of Tel Aviv and are holding over the Gulf. Standard preparation before large strikes. High-level U.S. discussions this week covered cutting electricity across Tehran. No decision was reached. I mean, if you are able to end the electricity, I mean, again, that you are effectively putting it back into the Stone Age. So this is what President Trump has ordered. The details include the attack would begin this weekend. It would last a few days. The Iranians have been crazy. All energy assets would be wiped off the map. The war in Iran is now entering its 6th month. Now, Iran announces that it will strike the world's most important energy facilities located in Arab countries and Israel, all within range of Iran's precision missiles, if the U.S. takes out their power plants. So this includes the oil fields in Saudi Arabia, other oil fields in Saudi. So they've announced their targets, oil refineries in the UAE, gas fields, oil fields. So, I mean, they're terrorists. They're going to do terrorist things, right? Multiple major news outlets are reporting that Trump is now actively weighing a major escalation to decapitate Iran. I guess we'll see if this will be a notable shift or is just saber rattling, right? We've seen this before. Iran's power plants and refineries may be next on the target list. CBS source says U.S. and Israel is preparing strikes on Iranian energy infrastructure. We've already blown up with precision an enormous amount of infrastructure, including Iranian bridges. And you can see here on this map exactly how busy our armed forces would be. And I think how scared Iran should be, quite frankly. You have natural gas field, oil field, LNG, pipeline hub. The entire country is like a sitting petrol bomb. And they're sitting. I mean, again, like the question, I suppose, is who can manage the most pain and who can manage the most attrition. This is every single war. But with Iran, you have no defenses. So it's just an ancient civilization that's just willing to crawl back into a cave, right? And that's the problem with fighting people like this. This has been the issue. And, you can bomb them all back into the Stone Age, but then what are you going to be left with? Is it really going to matter? Are you going to end their leadership? Tehran, well, I mean, what do you got here? You got a country that can't shoot down any American missiles, can't take down American planes, can't defend their own borders, can't defend their own airspace, can't prevent us from bombing anything in their country. They have no air force. They have nothing. But they can launch belligerent missiles at their neighbors that they've hidden and stashed away in the mountains. That's about all they can do. So they can just engage as a terrorist regime. That's about it. And that's what they plan on doing. So senior Iranian official officer says, we have prepared a comprehensive plan to respond, which includes critical infrastructure of the Israeli regime and U.S. energy infrastructure in the region. We are going to implement it. So there you go. President Trump's ordered a fresh attack aimed at getting Tehran to surrender that will begin this weekend, cutting off all electricity in Tehran, including for civilians. So Iran would strike back and everything would escalate exponentially. CENTCOM is war posting again, right? And Iran keeps being belligerent, sending ships back. So then what will we get? I don't know. What are we going to get? These guys look pissed, honestly. They look pissed. And they should be. Everyone should be angry at all of this. Everybody should be angry at the intelligence that brought us to this point. Everybody should be angry at the ramifications and the lies, I think, that we're told about what this would entail for U.S. administration. It's gone on way longer. It's been way more painful politically. The gas prices, grocery prices, home prices. This is what America First is. It's like putting Americans first. And once again, Americans feel like they've been left out of their own administration and that all of the attention is on some godforsaken sand pit in the middle of nowhere that doesn't affect us. And that's just a matter of fact. And so, I have been, again, encouraging from inside of the tent, wrap it up, wrap it up. Get back to focusing on the American people. That's the only thing that wins you elections, and you have to win elections. The point of this actually is to stay in power and to keep the movement alive. And so don't give the gift to our enemies that hate Donald Trump and that hate our movement of atrophying your own movement by not delivering on the things that the American people want. Cheap gas, cheap groceries, homes, and a future. So I don't like things that threaten that. And so I'm not going to apologize for it. Praying for peace. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.